Okie dokie, the meeting for the Protection and Welfare Committee, Monday, March 12th, 2018, at room 207 at City Hall. It is now 5 o'clock. We will begin. The roll call is Alder Dorf, Vice Chair's here, Chair's here, Randy Scannell. Alder Zimmer, I have not heard from him. I expect he'll be in shortly. Elder Galvin is out of state. He's out of this state. And sitting in for him until we have a quorum is Alder Nennig. Thank you.
Move to approve.
Move to approve the agenda by Alder Dorf.
Second.
By Alder Nennig. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
The minutes for February 28, 2018, moved by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Nennig. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We have our minutes passed. On to the meat. Item number 4. For consideration as possible action on the request of the PNW Committee for staff to investigate how to streamline the exotic animals and excess dog and cat permitting process, possibly with help of the clerk's office, with the intake and completion of the applications and the continued review and approvals by the Humane Officer, as discussed at the November 27th, 2017 meeting. Have anything
in discussions with the clerk's office, Officer Mavis was able to come up with an altered process for the clerk's office to intake the applications and issue the permits for excess and exotic animals following the review and approval of Officer Mavis. So accordingly, the ordinance regulating these permits has been revised to reflect this change in the process and to effectuate this new process, along with a few other changes to clean up the existing language for consistency purposes. And in the process, also a change to the time requirement required for cleaning up after a pet, like the window of time, which Officer Mavis can explain in a little bit more detail.
Yep, certainly.
Yep. Okay.
Hello again.
Welcome.
Let's see here. What would you like me to kind of explain, I guess, or go over?
The only thing I was interested in is what the amount of time. I thought that Russ
It
was
would be
pretty
changed. The amount of time to remove waste on your own property would be changed from 24 hours to 72 hours. The issue that we find is most people don't really even clean up within that time frame. And most people who walk their pets pick up immediately if it's not on their own property, and we don't have issues with that. It comes into a problem, especially in winter. You get a lot of rain or a lot of snow, and oftentimes someone's not going to go outside and pick up their waste. So then the neighbor calls on them and complains about the issue. And I don't feel like 24 hours is reasonable. If you leave town and have a pet sitter come, and you don't tell them to pick up the waste, they don't know about it, and then the neighbor's complaining on it, and I just feel like 24 hours is a bit strict. I think 72 is more manageable, and I would like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Hey, here's a little bit extra amount of time to clean it up, and go forward on that. Some people don't clean up all winter, and I have to give them a little friendly reminder, hey, we need you to clean this up. And the majority of people are excellent, and there's no issues.
Right.
So the accumulation of animal feces, it would be changed from 24 to 72 hours. Some of those tend to be inside the house, where we have more of an issue where people let feces accumulate inside the residence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that would not be covered in the 72-hour. You'd need to clean that, which.
Right, but that would fall under the same statute of accumulation of animal feces,
Right.
whether it's inside or outside.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And let it be noted that Alder Zimmers has joined us, and Alder Nennig is now in the gallery. We're on our first item with the exotic pets, item number 4 on your agenda.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I had one in that, speaking of time, we were hoping that this process would relieve you of some time and work and energy. Does this do the trick?
The permit process will hopefully do that. They'll seek the city clerk's office to obtain a permit. I have tons of requests. I had some last week, I had some the week before, someone wanting a skunk. So we're trying to clean up some of that, the verbiage in there too, because it is quite wordy, and just make it a little more easy to read, and then they can assist with that. I would essentially go out and inspect the address, check for priors, make sure it's what they're really getting into. I had someone wanting a pet goat, but they had no idea what they were getting into. So
That gets your goat.
Okay. So, funny.
Okay, so then, any other questions about the changes we're making?
Are you talking about the hours?
We're just talking about, no.
No, we
talking
did
about the
cover,
whole thing.
Olderdorf covered that from 24 to 72, yep, and Officer Mavis thought that,
I have to tell you that my packet didn't come on Saturday, and I
have
an
extra
I don't know why it didn't come Monday either, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Thank you.
talk to the mail courier. I had that problem, and I just mentioned it to them, and they were real good now about getting it to me on Saturday. So maybe if you let the
The
mail
last
know.
couple of meetings, they've come on, well, they came on Monday, 2 weeks ago. And today it didn't come, I was waiting at home for the meeting, but we get mail late, unfortunately.
Would you like to take a few minutes to go over it, or?
No, it's just, I didn't see the,
It's
the-
on page 4. No, it's
Page
really
4
at page
has
4.
the ordinance draft.
I have an extra copy if it's the
So,
animal
It's
I
one.
not
mean-
very big.
It's in
Oh,
the
okay.
packet.
Yep, that's
Okay.
it, yep.
It's, yeah.
and you want to change it from 24 to 72 hours for?
The current ordinance reads, no person may have 24 hours of accumulation of feces on their own property. We come into problems with that when obviously someone might not make it home, or they, issues with children or whatnot, and it tends to be in a little bit, I feel like it's quite strict. I think 72 hours would give people a little bit of time to actually get outside and clean it up, weather permitting and such.
So this wouldn't require them to pick it up every day?
Right. We're having issues where
I'm
people.
okay with that. 3 days doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
So, motion, move to approve.
Motion to approve. Anything else for us?
No, not
Nope.
unless you guys had any questions
No, I
at all.
think, good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good, okay,
Motion approved by Alder Dorf,
good to go.
second by Alder Zimmer.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That passes unanimously. On to item number 5, consideration with possible action on an appeal by David Will to the denial of his operator license application. Staff.
Yes, Law Department recommends denial of this item, based on a felony conviction that substantially relates to license activity, as well as 2 recent and pending municipal offenses that also relate. The felony conviction and the 2 pending municipal violations show a pattern of behavior of not adhering to laws. And as you will note, those offenses are listed in the denial memo that have been provided.
We need to open the floor first.
Well, hang on, look at you. You can stand there if you want, but we're not ready for you quite yet. Anything from the police?
Do you have the dates on this? Usually you have dates.
Not the specific date, just
Oh,
the year,
just the year.
2018, 2000, and
I'm
2011.
just wondering if these were related to each other, or the same day, or?
That I do not know.
You can check with David when he comes up.
I have the status date for, well, the violation date is January 29th, 2018, for the disorderly conduct and criminal damage to the 2 muni court
So they
citations.
were both the same day?
Those, yes, for the ones that are pending in muni court for 2018, yes, those are the same day.
And 2000, then everything else went back to 2011?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Anything you concur?
Yes, the police department has nothing further to add.
So, motion to open the floor.
Motion open the floor by Alder Dorf,
Second.
second by Alder Alder Zimmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Floor is now open. Please step forward. Give your name and address.
David Will, 1259 Cherry Street.
Okay, and you
I have
said,
a letter from my employer.
okay.
So can I ask some questions?
Well, certainly, would you like to make a statement first, or would you like us to just,
Well, I think I got denied mostly for my felony that happened in 2011. I was young, made a mistake. I haven't gotten in trouble since then, except for the January 29th situation. I had court for that today. That got dismissed. Besides that, going back to school in fall, it's a great job while I'm in school.
Do you have questions?
So this early conduct and criminal damage were dropped.
Yeah, the disorderly conduct wasn't dropped. I pleaded guilty because I was disrespectful to the police officer, and I apologize for that. The other did get dropped.
Did you have any questions, Alder Zima?
So how old are you now?
I'm 28 years old.
So this happened 7 years ago.
I was 21.
And MSBR is what?
Main Street Bourbon Room?
Oh,
I gotta get there.
Should.
So, I have a question.
Yep.
So, David, did you go through any counseling after the two, or the selling alcohol to underage, possession with intent, and drug trafficking? Did you go?
Yeah, I had
What did you do?
I had to go through counseling for that. To get before I started probation, I had to. For
Okay, so you had 3 years probation.
thinking like a criminal, I think it was, or something along those
Okay.
lines. I passed that. Got through probation without any problems. I think I'm a lot more mature now than I was at that time.
And what happened with the disorderly conduct? What was the
Well-
circumstances surrounding that?
I had my Texas Roadhouse Christmas party, so I had a few drinks. Me and my girlfriend got into an argument. It was the middle of winter. She kicked me out of the house with no shoes on. My phone was dead, so I couldn't Uber. So I did what was best for me at the time. I thought I was going to freeze to death, so I broke into her house. She didn't want to press charges. I fixed the door instantly, like the day after. It was a dumb mistake, but I really didn't know what else to do. I was freezing cold, so.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't,
Anything else you care to add?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. We'll close the floor and
motion return to regular order of business?
close the floor. Yep.
Whatever.
Re-
Close the floor.
Motion to return to regular order
second.
by Alder Dorf, second by Alder Zima. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's now amongst us. Motion?
I'll move to approve. It was when he was quite youthful. I think he explained well what happened with the 2018 disorderly conduct and criminal damage. I think I heard him say that he apologized to the police officer when one of those is being dropped. So I would move to approve his application.
And a second motion.
Motion to approve by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Zima. Yeah, he's got a letter from his employer, so I
And
think.
he's got the letter.
Yep.
Which we can get back.
You need it back?
Maybe
No, I don't
I'll-
need it back.
Okay,
Do
yeah,
we
we'll
want to
just,
put in the record?
sure, we'll put it in the record. Before we vote, I should have, I'm remiss in having not added that everything we do here at committee is a recommendation to the council. The council meet next Tuesday, and everything is final after that vote from the council. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this passes unanimously here. It'll go to council, and probably won't be any problems, but you never know. But 7 o'clock, right next door, in the room next door.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep.
That was Tuesday, next Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 6, consideration with possible action on appeal by Molly Zahn to the denial of her public vehicle operator license application. Staff.
Law Department recommends denial of this appeal based on a pending felony charge that substantially relates to the license activity. And that is also noted on the denial memo.
Thank you, Law Department.
Do we want to
Motion open the floor.
motion open the floor by Alder Dorf?
Second.
Second by Alder Zima. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the floor is now open. Please state your name and address.
Molly Zahn, it's 609 Superior Road, Green Bay. I have some letters from my employer here. You'll have to excuse me, I'm just getting over here. And I also have a couple copies. I have an AOD assessment in there as well.
Okay.
Well, you guys are ready to ask questions?
Certainly, by all means.
So Molly, tell us about this possession of meth.
It actually all came about, last June, I was attacked by an ex-boyfriend of mine. The police came and had to, like, I had to trick him, sorry, it's hard to talk about it. I had to trick him to get out of the house, and the police came and they had the dog searching my house trying to find this guy. He actually strangled me unconscious repeatedly. And then the police officer that was came and got me from my neighbor's house, put me in the back of her squad car, and she had to put my purse in the trunk. But I guess then she drove me to the ambulance. I got an ambulance, went to the hospital. She brought my purse, and apparently there was drugs in it. I have also some statements from, well, there's a lot of paperwork that goes with it, but this one has where they came in and told me that they had found this in my purse, and basically read me my rights and took my statement. And I was never physically arrested though, but they also asked if I would cooperate with the drug task force, and I said absolutely. These ones are, I don't know if you want to see these or not, but these are from the,
Whatever you got.
Okay.
Certainly.
these are from Officer Opika. Opitchka. The highlighted portion there is where he states, where he talks about when I talked to the drug task force officer.
Did you have a drug test?
Did I have one in the hospital? I
Yeah.
don't believe I had one right then. I did for my employment though. And I also have one, I have one here somewhere it's from a while back. I was sick, I believe the previous January with a kidney infection, and for some reason the hospital decided to run a drug test on me. And I have copies of that here somewhere if you'd like to see that.
No, I just was wondering, when they took the things from you, it said it here that something about he'd return it if the test was negative.
Oh, yeah,
That was the hash oil.
Yeah, the vape, I have a vape pen.
Okay,
The oil, he just wanted to make sure that there wasn't.
and that was fine?
Yes,
That was
yep,
fine.
I went and got that back. And I guess, I kind of have a question for you guys too, is with the driving license, with the driving, how would that charge directly relate to the occupation, or is it just because it's a felony?
Well, certainly with a felony, but also anyone who's using drugs or abusing drugs would have, usually we don't consider them a very safe driver, especially in a
Right.
position of responsibility. But definitely, the state statute says any felony and you're denied. But we kind of look at, the law's written such that we can look at it and say, well, this doesn't
Okay.
quite relate. Usually if there's a long period of time, or it'd be nice if your case was over.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is that the Chapter 6 state statute you're talking about?
I believe so.
Okay,
I'm not sure, I don't have it in front of me.
okay. Okay.
So how do you think they got in your purse? How do you think the meth got in your purse?
I honestly don't know. I can't say for sure, but I was unconscious several times, and this person was an ex-boyfriend of mine because I found out he was doing drugs, and I didn't want to be with him anymore. And he got very upset. He actually came back to my house and did this and attacked me.
So
And
when is your court date?
We have a court date the 30th of this month to, it's a motion to, I have that right here. But they have not found him yet. And, I don't even know if they're going to. From what I was told and from what's even in the police reports, the district attorney wasn't gonna file charges. It was actually 3 months before I was actually charged with anything. It's a motion hearing, motion to suppress, because they said they had to go into my purse to get my driver's license, but I actually gave the rescue personnel all the information they needed, which I know it's kind of getting rid of it with a technicality. I understand that, but it's really something I did not do. I have absolutely no criminal history. I have domestic violence from when I was 17. That was expunged from my record. And other than that, I think I got a speeding ticket maybe 10 years ago. Other than that, I really don't have much of a record. And this, I've been having a hard time finding a job, and I finally found this job, and then to hit this snag to get denied the license is just not fun. And it's a hard enough situation as it is.
This
Grant
job,
this pending,
this is
you know,
not a
from the
taxi
trial.
cab.
It's, I'd be driving the paratransit buses
That
for
would
the
be-
city.
Paratransit buses for the city.
Mhm.
Yep.
It would be for MD Transport. I believe the city must outsource that to
Mhm.
the MD
Yep.
Transport,
Yep. Yep.
the paratransit buses.
Mhm.
I have, my youngest son is in a wheelchair himself.
Mm.
Those are my boys. And it's just, like I said, I've been having a hard time finding a job, and this came along, and it was like the perfect job for me, because I not only get to help out other people like my son, but, it's just, it's fulfilling to be able to
Well,
do something like that.
would they wait until after the court date?
The employer, they're ready for me to start right now.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but if,
If we held this until after the court date?
I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. I know they really need drivers right now, so they may not.
The charge is possession
Methamphetamine.
and did they do a drug test on you that day?
No.
On me, no. No, I don't believe so. I went to a different hospital because where he ran to, I live right by Aurora Hospital, and that's where he ran, the direction he ran. So they didn't want to take me to Aurora, so they took me to St. Vincent's, and I didn't have immediate access to the records like I do my Aurora one. So I'm honestly not sure. I would assume it would, but I didn't see it anywhere in the police reports. I would assume it would be if they had done one. Not sure.
If she was drug tested, that would be, and came up positive, that would be in the report, would it not?
There isn't a very good test for methamphetamine, and for circuit court charges, that would all get sent to the crime lab.
Okay.
maybe I'll save
This
until-
this is the one from, this, I know it's not the same event, but it's from January. It's a drug test that was all negative.
A year ago.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
and this,
From last year, right, January?
oh yeah, so
2017.
yeah, last year, January. And that's when that happened, the same January that this happened.
It was June 2017 when I was attacked.
Oh, okay, because we don't have the dates on here.
Right.
Okay, so this was prior to,
This was after. She was attacked in June,
Yeah, the
and
test was
January
prior
she
to,
was-
yeah. Unfortunately,
the
that's,
test, the
But the-
test, she was attacked after. This test is from before she was attacked, before the methamphetamine was found in her purse.
but my employer,
Sorry,
in my
thank you.
employer's letter, he did write that because he couldn't give me a copy of the actual, because I had to do a DOT physical and a drug test. And that was all negative as well. He wrote that in his letter that you have in front of you.
Right, he did.
He couldn't make me a copy of it though,
On
unfortunately.
1/9/2018. Okay.
Any other questions? Anything else you care to add?
No, I don't think so. I think I covered everything.
Thank you.
Outside of this charge, you've never had another charge?
No, no, never, nothing. No drinking issues, no drug issues, nothing like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to return to,
Regular order.
Second.
motion by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Zima. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we're amongst ourselves. What are you thinking? It's a tough one.
I'm not going first this time.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know, you judge a little bit by how a person's appearances, and doesn't look like a drug person, and doesn't have any history of it. So, it's a little funny story about how things appear in the purse, but is it possible the boyfriend did it? The old boyfriend?
Yeah, that's what I believe. That's what, well, and that was,
but do we need to open the floor?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I guess so.
All right, motion open the floor.
Okay, motion open the floor by Alder Zima, seconded by Alder Dorf. All in favor? Aye. Okay, please answer.
I believe so, yes. I knew he had drug problems, and I knew that, well, I believe that methamphetamine was one of them.
And it's pretty vicious stuff.
I don't know personally, but yeah, that's what I hear. And I saw the things it did to him, and he was, well, I'm assuming that's, I don't even know if that's the only drug he was on, but it's not lifestyle I want to deal with. And unfortunately, I am not the first person he has done this to. I believe I am the fourth or fifth person he has done this to. With the attack and the strangulation. So,
Is he still out and about free?
yes.
Okay.
From the reports I have, Officer Opichka put it in that they were gonna put, I don't know if it was really a warrant, but that they were looking for him because of the attack. And there's a big packet of information that goes with the case that where and I've been working with them every time I heard something, you know, you hear from friends, oh, I saw him here, I saw him there. I would contact the officers and they go, you know, check it out, and I've been in contact with his probation officer as well. And I also got a restraining order against him. I have a restraining order till 2021. And it's just, it's unfortunate that I just kind of got stuck in the middle of this, and it's hard.
What is your age?
I am 33.
You should be old enough to know better by now.
Yeah, I have not dated anybody since, and it's going to take a while to actually, I had to do a lot of therapy because of it.
Well, let's focus on that.
All right, well, I'm just
Right.
sure to
Yep.
rate our business.
Second.
Okay, motion to by Alder Zima to return. Second by Alder Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're
Well,
back
I'd
to
make a
some
motion,
stuff.
Mr. Chairman, to approve. I think the person's age and the fact that there's no other previous history, we can assume this is an aberration. And I think it's, without giving them a chance, so I'd make a motion to approve it.
I'll second for discussion, and I think I'd just like, oh, go ahead.
I have some discussion.
No, go ahead.
So, so what happens if this goes to court and there is a felony then on the record and she is found guilty? There is no recourse at that point.
No.
We've given her the license.
Yep. Technically, I think we could probably be off because she doesn't have a felony right now on her record.
True.
Perhaps,
She doesn't.
though I don't know at the state, how the state would look at it if they came down on it. I'm not sure.
I struggle because I picture my little mom before she passed 3 years ago, being picked up by this very place for her kidney dialysis, and did I want my little mom to be in a vehicle where someone may have been using methamphetamine? That's really I struggle with this. And you present a good case. I see these boys that you're trying to take care of here, and they're lovely, and you have a responsibility. You don't have anything else in your record. I agree with Alder Zima with everything that he said about giving you a chance, and I struggle at the same time.
And that's a first, by the way.
It is. We should mark that. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Okay, well, and I agree with Alder Zima as well. There's no prior history, you certainly don't. You cooperate with the police. I'd really like to know why the DA is pursuing this. It would be very curious as to that. I would just like to add, probably the smartest thing to do would be for us to hold this, but we are then possibly risking her losing her, not getting employed.
'Cause that is,
I know in the, Vinny, when he was there, he's not there anymore, it would, if you got a good employee, he'd try and keep him busy for a while. This is only a couple of weeks, but I don't know how the situation
Well,
is now.
and it's longer because we have council the second, so, because of elections, so
Yeah,
probably wouldn't be till the 9th. I mean, really a month.
yeah,
It would be really a month
Yeah.
before.
yeah. So, do I throw the bones or not? I think, I feel pretty comfortable taking the risk.
I'll take the risk.
Am I able to say something?
We'd have to open the floor again. You really want to, so we could?
It's
we
a
could?
couple things.
All right, well,
All right, motion over the floor.
Thank
motion
you.
open the floor by the door, second by Zim, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
Thank
please.
you.
You don't want to talk yourself out of something, do you?
Yeah,
No,
we're
no,
just-
no,
Yeah,
I
'cause-
know, I've been doing
Molly.
a lot of research on it, and I don't have it here, but I'm pretty sure there's some kind of statute that you, like, if you get convicted of a felony, you have to report it to the employer
Mhm.
within a certain number of days.
Right.
So if that were the case, I'm actually, because once I'm done, whether or not I get the license from the city, then I have to go deal with the corporate office at MV and go through that whole process again. And so if I were to report to my supervisor, and no, Vinny's not there anymore, but
Yep.
Jimmy needs help filling Vinny's shoes, so even if I wasn't driving. But if I were to report it to him, he would have to report it to corporate, and they would terminate me.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that for a fact, because the corporate that as I've been talking to them, have told me that.
All right. Motion to return to
Whoa,
regular
whoa,
order.
anything else? Let's make sure.
And yeah, I'm also really curious about, like you stated, why the DA is pursuing this, because another one for you. I get the question now.
Mhm.
You just can give him one.
Okay, no one down here. I was actually really baffled by it. It was 2 months after the fact. I got paperwork in the mail, that's how I found out that I was being charged with it. The only explanation I can think of so far is
So, she's not going
It's-
to be charged?
No, she
that
was
the
charged.
felony.
She was charged.
But-
Just, it seems like the ADA was indicating that she wasn't, but ultimately we did charge the case. Why, we don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Now return to regular order?
Well,
No, anything else?
I think that's it.
okay. Call to order.
All right, return to regular order. Motion.
Motion by Alder Dorf, second by Alder Zim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Yeah, if she would still have the license though, the operator's license, so you could work for a cab company or something else, you'd have so, even though,
I see.
so, it's still a bit of a responsibility upon us. But, I think no prior history, you've been cooperating, it seems like a really weird case. So it doesn't sound like you have a drug issue here, but
I agree.
we don't know what the DA,
We don't.
what they're ultimately gonna do or how that all works out once you get in the court system. You never know how it'll work out, but I wish you the best of luck, and I'm ready to vote if everybody else is. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. I don't know if you heard that this goes to council then, Tuesday, 7 o'clock, in the room next door, and that's when it'll be final. This is just a recommendation to the council.
So just stop in next Tuesday at 7?
That's
Well, at some point during the evening.
Well, I'll move it up. If we have a lot of people
Okay.
in, I'll move it up. So,
Okay, all right.
There are several alders here, just so you know. We have Alder Stoyer, Alder Weary, and Alder
Okay.
Manick. And so there are 6 of us here hearing this tonight.
Okay,
But usually, if it's a unanimous decision, usually it just goes through, but you never know.
Right?
You might want to be there with some
it is a weird
prepared
case.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Right.
thank you.
Yep, good luck. All right. Item number 7, consideration of possible action on an appeal by John Russ to the denial of his public vehicle operator license applications. Staff, we don't have anything on John
Nope,
Russ, do we?
there is not. Law Department will be, is recommending approval of this appeal. While the applicant did have a felony conviction, it occurred over 20 years ago, it was
Oh.
1998.
Okay.
So just through the passage of time, we feel that it doesn't substantially relate.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Would you
Okay.
approve?
Motion to approve. Second by Alder Zima, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. That consideration is granted. Item number 8, for consideration with possible action on an ordinance amending the regulation of litter as discussed at the December 11th, 2017 meeting. Staff.
Yes, so, in taking in the recommendations of this committee, staff has drafted these proposed changes to the litter ordinance to prohibit persons from depositing litter and like materials in specified areas, and mandating delivery of such items into receptacles if available. The language of the ordinance is structured in such a way that delivery should be placed on a porch, a door, a doorway, or a receptacle.
Okay. The only question I had was using the term litter to define the items that we're concerned about, and legally, they fall under that definition.
Okay.
Litter is defined within the ordinance itself.
Yep, so that definition covers anything that we would be concerned about.
Circulars, leaflets, pamphlets, wrappers, handbills, newspapers, and all and any other printed or non-printed paper materials.
Non-printed,
Non-printed.
Maybe it's a picture.
No. Like a
that's a print.
Computer. All right.
Whatever.
handwritten,
Oh, I,
Handwritten?
it's not printed.
Are you going to call him?
was someone, yep.
Awesome.
I've been picking them up out on the street. When I've been door knocking, I've been picking them up out of the street.
They're not even newspapers, really, if you open them up.
No, they're
just-
ads.
They're ads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are.
that's what they are, they're ads.
I appreciate Attorney doing all the
Sure.
groundwork on this, so.
Alder Weary for putting the communication? Yes, anything you care
No,
to-
thanks for taking it up. I know it took a little while to kind of hash through it, and it's a nationwide thing. I know there's issues with, you can't ban one and not the others. It has to apply to everything, so. I mean, is this truly, do you think, Attorney, or Committee, the best that we can do? I mean, does this look like,
It would seem that we've,
That's another step.
okay.
and,
It says you can't
and,
throw stuff in the driveway on you.
Right.
So
You can't
how
throw it
would
on the
we,
sidewalk, you can't throw it in your yard.
yeah,
how would we fine? How would we?
I was just going to ask.
Okay, yeah,
if
So
you
the
could-
citation, right, and Bill Pappy from Inspections is here to kind of talk about enforcement, but
Okay.
essentially, the person that's doing the delivery would be getting the citation.
Okay.
That seems fair.
That seems best.
So there
Yeah.
would probably be a requirement of a witness statement. So if a property owner sees a delivery driver, takes a picture, notes date, time, calls in a complaint, inspections can go out and investigate and issue the citation.
It's always a Wednesday.
And to
That could be
obviously
tricky for
enforce.
magistrates,
Well,
really,
could be.
right?
Yeah, it could be.
You wake up and they're all.
I think there's enough people who are upset that are,
That's
they'll be
true.
waiting,
They'll catch 'em.
they'll have their binoculars out.
Right.
That's right, at least it's a good step forward, I think, so.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they had to sort through the litter to get this,
Thanks.
okay, anyone else care to? Go ahead.
I'll just follow
Do you want
things.
these?
No.
Not the way around.
Actually, I walked around my district the other day and I found 12 of these. And there was one citizen whose snow blower was ruined because he ran over one of these. So it's a bit of a safety issue as well. So, I don't know. If they're only
You
on the
should,
side-
if you're gonna speak, you should come up and identify
I'm
yourself
sorry.
for the, you know, make sure you get your,
Alderman Stroll.
turn around and
Thank
smile
you.
at the camera and,
Anyway, we all deal with this, and it's a nuisance, to be honest. Like I said, I like the the tenor of the ordinance to talk about putting it in some kind of receptacle or such that it's safe and it's out of the way. It's off the sidewalk, it's off the street, it's off the lawn. And like I said, a citizen that I know had their snow blower ruined because it ran over one of these. So that's, kind of an isolated case, but it could happen with other things too. So when I was walking around my district, there were about 12 of these within about a 2-block area. And I just kicked them onto the lawn. I don't know if I was allowed to do that, but it was in the way. It was on the sidewalk.
I think we'll have to cite you.
You might have to.
Litter.
Was there a witness? No.
You're an accessory.
Yeah.
I'm an accessory.
I don't know if that my district gets these. I've never even gotten one.
Well, it's
where I live.
only people who do not get the Press Gazette.
Oh, a lot of people get this because I'm where I live.
Yeah, so if you,
Right.
but sometimes I get them and I get the Press Gazette, so
But I don't know, what
they're
are
not
others?
real.
I never.
What do other communities do? I mean,
Well, staff looked into that. and-
So, several other municipalities are also dealing with similar complaints. Manitowoc, their littering ordinance prohibits any person from throwing or depositing any type of debris or waste material on any public or private property. The city attorney's office had advised the police department to issue tickets for littering, for depositing free newspapers and advertisements on private property. Stevens Point, the city attorney drafted a scattering ordinance, but it was never passed. They have used the threat of littering citations successfully, although mentioned the difficulty of enforcing without a witness to the actual act. De Pere is currently looking at the same issue, but they are concerned about First Amendment issues, dealing with leaflets and
Right.
advertising versus newspapers differently. Janesville dealt with an issue a decade ago and determined that the First Amendment protections prohibited regulation. And Wauwatosa currently has a scattering ordinance prohibiting delivery of materials where the owner has informed the distributor or delivery person that she does not desire to receive such materials. Our concern with adopting something like this would be enforcement. The property owner would have to prove that they notified the distributor or delivery person and that they do not want to receive the materials. This puts the responsibility on the property owner rather than the actual method of delivery.
And Randy, like you said too, you mentioned that Wednesdays, a lot of times they do this on a Wednesday. A lot of
It is,
folks are
it's a
working.
Wednesday delivery.
They don't, you have to be in the right spot at the right time to see it. And when you mentioned, Attorney Bungert, when you mentioned about the fine, whoever's delivering it versus maybe the corporation that's hiring them to do it, and then maybe Bill Pappy can talk to that too. But I just wanted to know who might be fined. It would be the driver and not
The
It would be-
carrier.
Right, it
The
would be the
carrier.
person actually effectuating the delivery. The difficult part, though, is if they're an independent contractor, we wouldn't be able to cite their employer.
And they just make the,
And a lot
Yeah.
of these delivery individuals are
Right.
hired as
Not like the
independent
old days.
contractors. Right.
I was a paper boy.
Me too. That's all I have. Thank you.
Care to say anything about enforcement?
Care to, or do you want me?
Come on down! Come on down!
Clean too.
Bill Pappy, Community Investment Manager, City of Green Bay. Talked to the law department, about it. We've kind of talked through some, issues that we have as far as like with enforcement, as well as with shower in your wig. The issue is going to be like Attorney Bungert said, it's going to place a lot of the initial burden on the resident to be able to get that information, and then they're going to have to forward it to us. So there's going to be a little bit of work involved as far as handling each one of these individually. I've reached out to the Press Gazette on numerous occasions. The last voicemail I left has gone unreturned, and that was in November. Initially, the individual that I talked to said that if tell me to instruct all of the residents to contact the Press Gazette, this number, to get removed from that. So as I told Alderman Weary and all the other aldermen that have contacted me, and that's been ineffective.
Yeah.
I think what the effective part would be is if we are able to cite the independent contractor. What's going to happen is independent contractors are not going to want to do this because they're not going to want to get a $691 citation, especially if we have numerous citations on one block. So that's going to be a deterrent for them. So hopefully that would gain some compliance, but there'd be some work involved with it. So we're willing to try whatever the
Okay.
council decides we think is appropriate and effective, so.
Maybe we could tie them to rat's tails. No comment?
No comment.
You bet.
Any questions for staff?
Nope.
Thank you.
Move to approve?
Motion to approve
Move to approve.
by Alder Dorf,
Second.
second by Alder Zima. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That goes on to council. Item number 9, report of the Water Utility Department regarding the lead pipe removal project. We all got in our packets.
They seem to keep moving along.
They keep moving along. I did notice that from the private side, they're finding more pipes, which is good.
Right.
But it gives them more
What to do.
to do. So, other than that, it looks like they're doing a great job.
So move to receive and place on file?
Yep. Most bad. For this reason, place on file, seconded by Alder Zima. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is received and placed on file. Last but not least, liquor violation reports from the police department for March 12, 2018.
Real easy. From February 26, 2018 to March 12, 2018, there were no liquor violations
Woo!
at licensed liquor establishments.
We're on a roll. This has been a couple of months in a row now. Hey, hey.
Summer's around the corner.
Yeah.
Do you need me to move and receive and place on file? Nothing?
I think we could put receive and place that on
Okay.
file.
Move
Sure.
and receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place on file by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Zim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
Move to adjourn. I have another meeting.
Motion to adjourn by Alder Dorf,
Second.
seconded by Alder Zim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you, guys. Nicely done.